as of the recording of this video, we had a huge announcement yesterday. We got a sequel to a game that I like a lot, but also that I thought was never going to get a sequel. I'm, of course, talking about Speedrunners 2. And not only did they announce a sequel, it's being done by the Nick All-Star Brawl devs, but also they said it's going to have 8-player multiplayer. Now, I haven't heard any confirmation that this 8-player mode will be offline or if it'll be exclusive to online, but like, I'm gonna jump the gun and say I assume they're gonna support offline, and if this video gets outdated because of that, oops. Speaking of sequels and outdated videos, this video is meant to be sort of a sequel to my previous 8-player video. If you haven't watched that video yet, I highly recommend you watch that before watching this one, because aside from finding some new games, I want to mention a few updates regarding 2 old games that I mentioned in that video. The first is Pummel Party. So in my previous 8-player video, I had said that Pummel Party was exclusive to Steam. And this was true until, like, quite literally the very next day after I uploaded that video, they announced that Pummel Party was coming to other platforms. And by the time this video is out, it'll already be on those platforms. The other update is on Runbow. I've actually now played Runbow, and the game is fun. However, there's a few weird things I noticed about it. The first is that it never goes on sale. At least not on PC or Xbox. I think the PlayStation version like very rarely goes on sale. It's mostly the Nintendo Switch version you'll see on sale. I'm not sure what the reason for this is. I suspect it has something to do with them switching over to self-publishing the game. That's only an assumption though. But what I'm trying to say is don't wait for the game to go on sale, because it's never going to go on sale. Buy it at full price. You're supporting an indie team anyway, so, you know, yeah, throw them a bone, buy it at full price. The game is fun, but it also does have a few bugs. Specifically, 2 that I ran into. The first is unlocking certain characters seems kind of bugged. Here's what I put up on the Steam discussion forums for this game. There were 2 characters I encountered bugs with. The first was Scram. I met the condition he did not unlock, and so I repeated the process a few more times and finally got the character. As for Shovel Knight, I still don't have Shovel Knight. And looking online, this is like the most common bug that people talk about. So like I said, I put this post out on the Steam forums for this game, and I did get a response from one of the devs who said that they never got a report about this bug, and that they have not experienced it themselves, and that they have not updated the game in years. Yeah, to be fair, I think most of the people who were complaining about this bug, I think were playing on the console versions of this game, which I think were ported by a different company, and that company might have messed something up. But at the same time, I'm experiencing the same issue too, so I don't really know who's at fault here or what the issue is. It's not the end of the world for me. It's just a little annoying. I have Gunvolt unlocked. I just play as Gunvolt anyway. I like Gunvolt. But like, I feel like I should have had Shovel Knight unlocked by now. The other bug I ran into is what I would call a major bug. Actually, I don't even know if bug is the right word. I think the word I want to use is unintentional feature, but not a good feature. So this game supports crossplay between both the Steam and Epic versions. Now, they did give this game away on Epic years ago, and by default, that version of the game has the Epic Online services enabled, which makes it so that you can never start up this game offline. Now, the Steam version, it's off by default, which is great, because that means you can boot up the game without an internet connection. There is a setting to turn it on. Do not turn on this setting. I turned it on just to test it out. I had to boot up an old cloud save of this game on my computer and have it override the cloud save on my Steam Deck just to turn this feature off again, which is absurd. That's insane. The game is fun, but if you want to play it offline, never touch this stupid button. It's reasons like this where I would usually push for saying, hey, you should wait for this game to go on sale, because they have not updated the game in years. This is a major bug. They're never going to update this as far as I'm aware. You should wait for it to go on sale. But the game is never gonna go on sale. So you're just kinda screwed. The game is fun, don't get me wrong. Just as long as you don't turn on that stupid setting ever in your life, you should be fine for the most part. Would I recommend the game? Yeah, I would recommend the game. I would just also put a big warning label on it that says, do not ever touch this stupid button, whatever you do. With the updates out of the way, let's start talking about newer games that I've played. So I've played a few other games, and I've found even more games. So starting off with games I played, there is Mage Quit, which actually goes up to 10 people, which I thought was very cool. And this game, it's a neat little game, but I didn't get to play it with my friends as much as I wanted to, because when I brought my Steam Deck over and we tried playing the game kept crashing. And so it wasn't until later that I found out that there is a guide for this. The developers were kind enough to put a little thing together that says, hey, put it on Linux runtime and you're good to go. So it's nice that the developers have that in there. I just kind of wish that like somehow that was the default. Like maybe the game somehow knew this was the this was running on Linux, but oh well. It's better that we have the option there than not have it at all. So if you do get this game and you're playing specifically on the Steam Deck, just make sure before you boot it up, you change that one setting and you're good to go. I made a little video about having GameCube controllers running on this thing. However, I actually don't remember if I mentioned anything about getting the game running on the Steam Deck in that video. If you're just playing on a Windows computer or handheld, there's no extra steps, just boot up the game. The other one I played with friends is actually a series of games. We played the first one. I do have the second one now. And this is Pico Park. And what I really like about this game is most 8-player games are just competitive, right? It's you versus everyone, which, don't get me wrong, is a lot of fun, but I'm glad that there's a game here, 2 games now, 2 versions of the first game and 1 sequel, so 3 games? 2.5, we'll call it that. 2.5 games that have a focus on cooperative multiplayer. You and your friends get together and try to solve these puzzles. And there's a variety of puzzles. There's ones where you're all connected on a line. There's one where it's kinda like red light, green light. There's a variety of different kinds of puzzles you can play in this game. And they have a sequel now too, so if you play your heart out with the first game, then go ahead and buy a sequel. Oh, and by the way, these games are dirt cheap. The price for these games is phenomenal. The first one, the original one, is just free. And of course they have a better version of the first game, which is only a few bucks. The difference between these 2 versions is the first one has less levels, but supports up to 10 players. The newer version reduced the player count to 8, but it also has more levels. And it has online multiplayer. So you get at least a few more things just for buying the first version of the game. And then of course the second one, while I haven't played it with my friends yet, I'm just gonna assume they also have the online multiplayer in there. Because why not? Now those are the games I have played. And just like my last video, there's gonna be a section of games I have not played. So in my previous video, I have a pinned comment section of 8-player games that are brought to my attention or that I find out about. And I keep adding to this list as I keep finding more. However, there's one game on the list that I really wanted to mention for a different reason, and that's Killer Queen Black. What is Killer Queen Black? Here's the thing. I couldn't tell you. I remember this game was getting advertised years ago, and I was like, oh, that game looks fun. Maybe I'll check it out at some point. And then I never did. Because they delisted it. You can't buy the game anymore. It's gone. It's completely gone. I think it had something to do with the shutdown of Amazon's GameSpark service, which I think was some sort of server hosting thing. I didn't really look too into it, but the fact that the game was just outright delisted because of not having online support anymore seems kind of absurd to me. I'd have to do a bit more research on this title, but from what I can gather, it got a local 8-player update, I think about like 5 years ago. I'll have the date up on screen of when it got delisted. But what's so strange to me is it's like, okay, so even if the servers are no longer there, you have the 8-player mode there, and the game's just getting delisted. Who's the publisher of this game? Steam lists Liquidbit as the publisher of this game. However, it was developed by both Liquidbit and BumbleBear. BumbleBear developed and published the original Killer Queen, so I'm not sure if one of these companies had the higher authority to make a decision like delisting the game, or if it was a mutual agreement thing. There was a statement made by Liquidbit in an article from Game Developer where they said they were working on making the game open source. However, at the time of recording this video, that open source version has not been seen or released anywhere. I probably should have done some more research on this game, but I don't want to make this entire video a Killer Queen Black video. I want this to be another 8-player game video. So I'm just putting Killer Queen Black out there as a sort of, hey, can we do something about this? If you want to play this game, your only option is sailing the high seas. And I can't tell you where to find it, mostly because I don't know where, because I didn't look. But Google is your friend. And I'm sure Google would love to tell you exactly where you can obtain this game now. And then for the last game that I know has 8-player that I did not play is Sega Ages Virtua Racing, which is exclusive to the Nintendo Switch. I'm just kind of mentioning that here as a sort of like, here's something funny. Here's a goofy little something. I never played it. It's pretty cheap. You can get it for pretty cheap. I think I got it during a sale, actually. That might be something I'll have to play with my friends and see what we think. Might be a fun little something. Overall, I've noticed that slowly more and more 8-player games have been releasing, which I'm really happy about. And I kind of hope that it gets to a point where maybe we can have a like Steam tag or something that says local 8-player or something. I think that would be cool, and it would make it easier to find games like this. Thank you for watching these videos, and thank you those of you who have left comments suggesting more games to add to the local 8-player games list. And I hope that these videos helped you find out about some games that you maybe didn't know about before. And I really hope that you got to try out some of these games and have fun with your friends because of these videos. Please update Runbow!